What's up guys, it's finally manga time once again. How have you all been? I apologise, I've been away for so long, but I just kind of had to decide what I was going to do with the channel after Bleach ended, and now I've got ideas. I want to do things like some interesting top 10s I've got planned about the series, about things that potentially left, but there was one thing that I do need to catch up on, and that is volume reviews. I'm very behind, as you can see, 62. I think in the UK we are on 67, with 68 due to come out in December, I believe, because they take like 6 months to come out for some reason. So yeah, let's crack on with this. I don't know how quickly I'll be able to get through all my volume reviews, but hopefully we will get that done, because it has been hanging over for some time. And luckily I do have them all so far. So, cracking on then with volume 62, Heart of Wolf. This is Komamura's big shining moment, and it is quite a shining moment. It does shine quite brightly. Let's start with the cover. Komamura himself finally getting a volume cover. Not the best cover in the world, not gonna lie. Komamura looks pretty cool, ferocious, animalistic, you might say, but the colouring is minimalistic and pretty bad, actually, down the bottom here, especially, like where Kubo just sort of gives up on the bits that aren't Komamura's face. I think this is Komamura after he has transformed into a full-on animal, and I get it. I get what Kubo went for. It's the kind of rage-induced Komamura that this volume is all about, but it's just a bit, I don't know, I kind of wanted Komamura to be in his Shinigami clothes looking like a badass, so it's not bad. It's obviously it's well drawn. Everything Kubo does is well drawn. Also Komamura, I could have sworn he's not that colour. Isn't he like brown? Reddish brown? But whatever. Moving on. The poem is nice. I will continue to fight myself as long as I have the fangs in my heart. This volume is literally full of imagery, metaphors, and just everything like that. It's so well done, all the Komamura stuff. I'll get more into it when we actually get there. But yeah, the Komamura stuff in this volume is so good. Like, Komamura is easily one of the best written captains out there. He's one of my favourite captains, and he's also one of the best written ones. Coincidence? I think not. But yeah, Komamura's arc now it's kind of funny. I don't want to come across hypocritical. Komamura's arc in this arc is one of the best out of all the captains. There's no doubt about it. Komamura gets an actual character arc. Then he disappears off the face of the planet. After this volume, he never appears again, apart from once in a tiny panel in volume 68, where he and Iba are facing off against a bunch of soldats. Then you never see him again. And it's just like, why? Why? Like, why is Komamura not just there in the final... When Iba is revealed to be captain at the end of the series, why is Komamura not just there? Like, lying on the floor or something? At least that would be closure up. I'm getting angry. Let's move on. So, the All-Stars are Ichigo, of course. If Ichigo's in a volume at all, he basically gets a guaranteed spot in the All-Stars. Despite the fact I think he's only in the one chapter. And it's a pretty random chapter of that as well. Hitsugaya, fucking hell. Komamura, obviously. Then it's Bazby, Kangdu, and Bambietta. So that's pretty cool. The Sternritter's getting some love, especially old Kangdu over here. No BG9, which kind of sucks, because this is his last volume. He's in it a couple of times. Especially since Bazby probably didn't need to be in this volume's All-Stars, because he's, not actually in it much. And he's got chances later on. But whatever. I don't think Kubo really gave a shit about BG9, let's be honest. So, the chapters are 551 down to 560. The Burnt Offerings, the Fundamental Virulence, Frozen Cross, Desperate Lights, The Hero, The Wolfsbane, Left My Life Behind, Heart of Wolf, The Knight Right, and Rages at Ringside. I'm not going to lie to you, folks. The first half of this volume is pretty bad. It's kind of garbage, actually. The fight between Hitsugaya and Bazby is nice. It's got decent choreography. Seeing Hitsugaya get wrecked never gets old, let's face it. And considering it happens a lot, that's a good thing. And then Kangdu shows up, and that's when the problems begin. Now, I'm not going to lie, this arc was doing really, really well up until this point. And this volume, actually, is a problem volume, because this is the volume where things start to go bad for this arc. That's not to say the arc doesn't pick up at points, because it definitely does, but this is the first instance of things going bad, of Kubo doing Kubo shit. So from the beginning of the arc to this point, it was really good. The first invasion, everyone loves the first invasion. Absolutely incredible part of Bleach. And then all the Royal Guard stuff was cool as well. The characters were interesting and good. And then you get here and Kubo starts to drop plot lines, pull bullshit out of his ass. So like I think it's pretty clear that the stolen Bankai plotline was dropped. Kangdu shows up, and as he shows up, Urahara happens to have found out a way to get the Bankai back. You know, like BG9 and Bambietta don't even use them. So I think that was probably originally intended to be a bigger deal. But literally, I'm talking 5 chapters into the second invasion and the Shinigami get them back. I don't think any of us were really expecting that. I wasn't expecting the Quincy to take such a trouncing so early on into the second invasion, and it really hurts their threat factor that happens. Again, I'm like, not to say they're not threatening later on. They never ever reached the height that they had in the first invasion, and I'm pretty much pinning it all on this moment. This is where it all goes sorely downhill for them, when Kubo starts to introduce the absolute bullshit that completely fucks them over. So, Kangdu just talking nonsense for ages. I mean, don't get me wrong, Kangdu's awesome. Really cool character, but he doesn't say a word before this point, and rather than just kill Hitsugaya, Kubo has him soliloquy like a madman. But what can you do? So Urahara reveals how they get their Bankai back. It's actually not bad. I buy the theory behind it. This is one thing that Kubo actually did foreshadow. You get to see Hollow Reiatsu reacting badly to Quincy's in Everything But the Rain. That's what the whole arc's about. So this is fine. It just should have happened later on, after the Quincy's had a chance to kick serious ass with the Bankai. This should have come in at a moment where the Shinigami really needed help. At the moment, the only Shinigami who really needs help is Hitsugaya, and no one cares about Hitsugaya. So yeah. No, to be fair, Soifon's in trouble as well. Yeah, but even then, like, Byakuya's not even around. Komamura's not even around, so 2 of the people who are affected aren't even having anything to do with this scene whatsoever. So, just in general, this scene is a mess, and it's just dumb, and it's annoying. The way that the Quincy get completely wrecked, it's just stupid. But, you know, whatever. BG9 gets just taken out by Soifon's Bankai. How the hell Soifon is wielding a Bankai when she looks like that is beyond me. It's canon that her Bankai is so Reiatsu heavy she can only use it once in every 3 days, and now you're telling me she uses it when she looks like that? Get out of town, Kubo. Absolute joke. But whatever. Then Hitsugaya is just an annoying little shit and beats Kangdu. Beats Kangdu, by the way, which is something we will get into later. I mean, I know I've talked about this a lot in my review/rant that I did when this chapter came out, and succeeding chapters as well. But yeah. So anyway, we then move on. We get to the kind of middle, and now I feel like Kubo, during pretty much after this chapter, was like, shit, I really need Ichigo to show up at some point because I completely forgot about him. So he introduces the Bambietta fight, which makes sense because we've just had 2 of the other stolen Bankai fights. And then, for some reason, he has Ichigo show up in the next chapter, and we do a whole Royal Realm chapter. But, whatever. Royal Realm's fine. Shinji gets taken out because he sucks and he's a complete loser. And so it's just down to Komamura to beat Bambietta. And now we get the Komamura-Bambietta fight, which really is kind of the meat of this volume. By far the best bit of the volume as well. It's actually just a great fight in general. The revelation that Komamura is actually a human is brilliantly done and genuinely caught me by surprise, and I was like, that's fucking amazing. I just could not believe it when that page showed up. I was like, oh my god, that is incredible. And it's just so good. It's so good. It's so well written. Komamura sacrificing his heart to gain power. but it's metaphorical as well, because he is giving up his heart by sinking to revenge in the same way that Tosen did, the man who he once lectured about the same thing. It's just so well done, and then for some reason Kubo forgets about him. So, but you can't deny that Komamura has an absolutely brilliant character arc in this arc. You know, like Dangai Joe looking absolutely awesome. And so, yeah, the rest of the volume sort of is mostly just this fight for a couple of chapters. This is so cool. When Komamura says, you know, as soon as I stepped onto the battlefield, the decision was made to leave my life behind. I mean, that is just such a cool way to end a fight. It's awesome. Then his power-up just disappears. Blah, 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 blah. And then obviously you get some nice setup for stuff later on, actually, though. You do get Giselle killing Bambietta, and then obviously that is fulfilled later on. Also, little did we know, actually, skipping back a couple of chapters, Giselle's already hard at work. That's her shadow approaching Hitsugaya to zombify him. Now, admittedly, that doesn't look a damn thing like Giselle, but, you know, I'm assuming Kubo just didn't want us to realise. To be honest, it even took me a couple of reads to even work out there was a shadow there, so I was just so seething with rage at that point, I think. Anyway, yeah, so Komamura's fight's over and done with. He's turned into a dog. He literally shows up one more time, I think, and that's it. And that's when he's facing off against a bunch of soldats with Iba. But I don't know why Kubo didn't just show him, but whatever. So yeah, moving on. We then get some Hashwolf Shunsui stuff with the eye patch added in correctly. There was no eye patch in this part of the volume, which is funny because I feel like Kubo would have drawn it differently had he not forgotten the eye patch, because it is funny to have an eye reaction with an eye patch. So originally it was an eye reaction, that shot, so yeah, that is funny. But yeah, this is all fine, and then we get Master Masculine showing up, setting up for later on, and now we get one of the worst decisions Kubo ever made in this arc, and the second part of what the fuck are you doing, and it is the notorious execution scene of Kangdu and BG9. Notice, ladies and gentlemen, how Kangdu is absolutely unharmed. He's not hurt. Toshiro is basically dead. Why didn't they just let him kill him? Okay, BG9's taken a big hit, but he's still fine. He says we might have temporarily lost, but we will revive. Like, literally, it's like Kubo is talking sense through a character who is about to be killed through nonsense. BG9 is basically the reader at this point. BG9 is like, look, we might have temporarily lost. They haven't actually lost because they're not dead. And both of their opponents, by the way, are incapacitated. But anyway, he says, we might have temporarily lost, but we will revive with the release of Volstendig. We can still fight for you, your majesty. And then Yuha says, you were fortunate to escape death. And then Hashwolf just fucking kills them. And it's like, why? Seriously, that's so dumb. And I think 2 chapters ago, no, it was a little bit longer than that, 554, where you actually fucking see them activate Volstendig in their respective battle areas. Kubo clearly had the plan to have them use Volstendig and then decided to completely ditch that. My guess is he wanted to do round 2, but then ran out of time, and he was like, I can't do it, I don't have time. It's just so dumb. Like, Kang is even shattering the ice with his Volstendig. Yeah, awful. So stupid. I mean, you get some decent interaction here where Kangdu just absolutely bosses Hashwolf for a moment when he's like, you know, it's not difficult for me to stop your blade. All that sort of thing is very, very cool. Kangdu being like, I will not be killed by anyone other than His Majesty. And then Hashwolf just kills him for some reason. It's just stupid. Kangdu's not even hurt. Like, I can never get over this, I don't think. It annoyed me so much back in the day, and now it's just so dumb as well. And the thing is, it's not just me. I know so many of you guys were clinging on, like I was, to the fact that maybe they're not dead. Like, maybe Hashwolf just hurt them to kind of teach them a lesson sort of thing. But no, he actually just fucking kills them both for some reason. What hurts even more as well is they both have awesome designs. and they were both built up from the first invasion. And then Kubo wastes time on garbage characters like Gremmy, who we'll get into when we get to his volume and stuff like that. Kubo did it all wrong with some of these Sternritters. Like he spends the first invasion building up certain Sternritter like these guys, like Colonel Sanders, and then just fucking wastes them. And it's like, what are you doing? Yeah. So anyway, Kangdu and BG9 are now dead for no reason at all. And we move on to Mask Demasculine, who gets quite a lot of screen time, much to people's chagrin. So Mask has basically finished off wiping out Hisagi, Ikaku, and Yumichika, and then Kensei and Rose show up. And I'm not going to lie, this fight is pretty good. Kensei and Rose versus Mask is pretty good. You know why? Because we're not bored of Kensei and Rose. That's why, because we never see them do anything. So their Zanpakuto abilities are still interesting. You know, finding out the true power of Kensei's Tekken Tachikaze, fucking awesome. Like, that's just really cool stuff. And then we see Rose's Bankai next volume. But then it's just over super quick. But yeah, this is the end of the volume. Master Masculine overpowering the two of them and proclaiming himself the superstar. So, volume 62, very polarizing volume. The stuff with Komamura and Bambietta is beautifully done. Some of Kubo's best work, to be honest. That everything about losing your heart, revenge, becoming an animal because of it. It's so powerful. The imagery is so good. Komamura's grandfather being actually an interesting peripheral character, unlike, say, Yushiro, who just brought into the series for no reason whatsoever. Yeah. Really good stuff with the Komamura thing. Just completely marred by garbage writing choices. So that is the end of the volume. I will give it a 7 out of 10. You should definitely pick it up. You should give it a read. Especially if you're a Komamura fan, because this is a really, really great volume for Koma. But Kubo makes big writing decisions in here that are really bad, and it's the real start of the arc making bad writing decisions. Alright, so that's it for this video, guys. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, probably volume 63, I'll catch you then. Until then, see you later.